This is Project Command, and you're listening to Flashpoints. Quick, sharp hits that turn big project management concepts into everyday tools for the fire service. I'm Captain Duke Cuneo, and I'll be your host. But before we get started, I want to quickly mention our new book, Project Management in the Fire Service, available now on Amazon. This book was written specifically for firefighters, company officers, and chief officers looking to better understand how to lead projects, manage change, and turn big ideas into executable systems inside the fire service. From apparatus purchases and station projects to policy development, staffing initiatives, and organizational change, this book is designed to provide practical tools that can be applied immediately in today's fire service environment. Just search Project Management in the Fire Service on Amazon to learn more. Now, back to the show. Today's Flashpoint: culture eats projects for breakfast. In the fire service, especially in fire administration, we love plans. We love strategic plans, deployment plans, staffing plans, rollout plans, training plans, and implementation timelines. We build spreadsheets. We create policies. We assign deadlines. We hold meetings. And then we act surprised when a project that looked perfect on paper quietly falls apart in the real world. But most projects do not fail because the spreadsheet was wrong. They fail because the culture never accepted the project in the first place. On the fire ground, crews can tell within seconds whether an operation has real alignment behind it. If command announces a strategy, but the companies inside the structure don't actually believe in it, the incident begins to fracture almost immediately. Communication breaks down, freelancing starts, initiative drifts, the operation loses cohesion. The incident doesn't fail because the tactical worksheet was poorly formatted. It fails because the operation lost shared belief. And the exact same thing happens inside organizations every single day. One of the biggest mistakes leaders make is assuming the formal chain of command is the only chain of command that exists. But every fire department actually has two organizational charts. The first is the official one. The second is cultural. And the second one is often more powerful. Every firehouse has informal leaders: the respected senior firefighter, the trusted operator, the unofficial voice at the kitchen table, the person everybody watches before deciding how they feel about a new initiative. Because culture spreads faster than policy. You can mandate attendance at training. You can require signatures on a policy acknowledgement form. You can order compliance, but you cannot order commitment. And there's a massive difference between the two. A firefighter can nod during the meeting, complete the online module, and say all the right things publicly, while quietly rejecting the project operationally the entire time. That's how projects actually die. Not through dramatic failure, but through friction, through cynicism, through passive resistance, through the slow normalization of phrases like, "This will never last," or "They'll change it again in 6 months," or "That's not how we do things around here." Healthy cultures accelerate execution. They create momentum. They create trust. Information moves faster. Buy-in happens earlier. Problems get solved before they become operational barriers. But unhealthy cultures create drag, and drag compounds over time. The dangerous part is that organizations usually don't measure any of this. We create staffing numbers, response times, completion percentages, and deadlines. But we rarely measure trust, belief, morale, or cultural fatigue, even though those are often the variables driving the entire outcome. Because culture is the operating system underneath the project. And if that operating system rejects the mission, eventually the mission stalls, no matter how good the plan looked at the beginning. Every firehouse gets a vote, even when nobody casts a ballot. The leaders who understand that are usually the ones who successfully move organizations forward. Not because they ignore culture, but because they recognize culture early, engage informal leaders, communicate clearly, and build belief before they try to force implementation. Because in the end, people rarely fight the spreadsheet. They fight what the spreadsheet represents. Once again, I'm Captain Duke Cuneo, and this has been Project Command Flashpoints. If today's episode gave you something to think about, please consider liking, sharing, or subscribing wherever you get your podcast. You can continue the conversation on LinkedIn, where Captain Peter Eunice and I share additional insights, breakdowns, and behind-the-scenes work connected to these episodes. For video versions, extended discussions, and upcoming interview content, check out the Project Command channel on YouTube. Questions, comments, or ideas for future episodes? You can still reach us at projectcommandpodcast@gmail.com. That's projectcommandpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening.